So I like what Dan's saying. I understand. Get out of here. So can someone tell me why we're choosing square roots maybe? Anyone? Oops. So Marty or John, why did you choose square roots? Like what, was there something about the way the equation looked that you chose to use square roots? So you can find it on both sides. All right, so it's kind of like the way it's set up, John is saying, where I have like x squared. Yeah, okay, the x is isolated. I like that, okay? The x squared is isolated. It's equal to only a number value. There's no other x term in there, right? I have x squared and then 196. I don't have like minus 3x or plus 2x or anything in that middle term. I don't have that b term. Okay, so that x is isolated, which is good. Or I should say the square term is isolated already, and there's no other x term. All right, so I like this. When I take the square root, what do I always have to remember? I don't want to forget. When I take a square root, what do I have to remember? Anyone? That would be my next step, to take a square root. So if I write something like this for you guys, I'm doing something wrong. What am I missing? Anyone know? This is always a big one. Some of us forget this. We don't want to forget it. And this could be anyone. What am I forgetting in my line here, in this last line that I just wrote? Yes, the plus or minus, right? Thank you. Okay, cool. All right, so I do need that plus or minus. Now, oh, sorry. Can someone tell me what the square root of 196 is? Ryan said I need that plus or minus, which is true. Can someone tell me what the square root of 196 is? Yes, 14. Cool. Okay, so I have 14. Sorry. It's a little harder than I thought. Okay, so I have x equals plus or minus 14. Can someone tell me what my actual answer will be? Yeah, so guys, why am I, oh, sorry, I think that was to my square root answer. Can someone tell me which answer I should actually choose and why? Okay, Carlin, and why, or someone else can answer that. I'm going to cross out the x equals negative 14. I'm going to choose this answer. Why is that? Can someone tell me why that is? Yeah, okay, I can't have a negative answer because I'm dealing with length. Now, guys, remember, I'm dealing with length and space here, right? So I'm not giving you any other context other than I have a square. Sometimes we can have negative lengths if I'm dealing with something underground or something going backwards or something below sea level. But that there was no context implying that, which is why I'm only going to deal with that positive number, okay? When you I don't think you guys are taking, you're taking bio. When you take physics, which I don't know if that's next year or not, you will deal with negative lengths in terms of vectors, and you're going to be going backwards. But we're not dealing with that now. Okay, so right now I'm going to get rid of that negative answer because I don't want it. It's asking you find the length of the square. So my final answer here, remember, I always want you to write me a sentence or at least use units. Okay, so I'm going to say my length of my square or of the square is 14 feet. Okay. Now remember, I'm going to try to only ask questions that are like kind of new to the problem because I don't always get answers. Does the plus or minus go every time when you're finding square roots? Yes. So John, this plus or minus here that I wrote that I'm circling in purple, right? I always like to write that because even though I'm going to get rid of the negative answer eventually in these word problems, in these problems with context, I don't want to forget about using the plus or minus because it's a good habit, right? Whenever you take a square root, when you're introducing it to the page, you need that plus or minus. Then when you're solving, continuing to solve the problem, that's when you want to say to yourself, okay, does the negative answer really make sense? If it doesn't, I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, so yes, you should always have the plus or minus when you're finding using square roots. But, sometimes you might get rid of that negative answer. Okay. Are there any questions on this problem? So I could give you something like this on Friday, like say to you, do this problem, take a picture of it, send it to me, right? This is something I think everyone, this isn't too bad. If I'm being honest, I'll probably give you something more like one of the other problems we're going to do. I think this one is a little bit on the easier side, and I do want to see you guys work a little more. Okay, so I'm going to flip to this problem. Okay, this one's a little bit harder. This one's a little bit harder. Okay, so I'm going to find the dimensions, right? Okay, dimensions, remember, mean, if I ever write dimensions, I want you guys to know that this means find the length and the width. That's what dimensions mean. Or at least if I'm dealing with a rectangle. Okay, if I'm dealing with a triangle, it would be like base and I might say find the base times height or something like that. Okay, so guys, when I have the diagram drawn and I have the sides already labeled for you, you don't need a let statement. If you want to write one, you can though, just kind of saying again what I'm giving you. So it doesn't matter which one I decide for length and width. Okay, I have x plus 4 and x. Let's just say x plus 4 is the length. It doesn't matter though, if you want x plus 4 to be the width, that's totally fine. Because eventually all I'm going to say at the end is the dimensions are whatever number by whatever number, okay, and use the units. So it's up to you how you want to define it, okay? As long as you define something and stay consistent with that, that's fine. If I told you that x plus 4 was the length, then you'd want to keep that as the length. All right, so I have my let statement. I need my model now. Can somebody tell me what my model should be? Oh, Aiden, very fast, good. Okay, so he said 60 equals x plus 4 times x. I am loving you guys with these parentheses, okay? I have to say, maybe virtual learning is good for us writing math a little better because you have to communicate it better, like through the computer. That's awesome, okay? So we need those parentheses. If you don't have parentheses, you're not implying that the x has to be distributed. Okay, what's my next line? Anyone? I have my model, now I want to solve it. What's the next thing I want to do? Or you guys can take a second to do it if you want. Beautiful. Yes. Okay, Maddie said. And guys, have more confidence in your answers. This looks great, Maddie. So you said 4x plus x squared. That's great. I like that. Okay, now where is, all right, so I want everyone to look at this problem, right? I have 60 equals 4x plus x squared. Everybody should know the method you absolutely have to use. Well, not the method that we're going to use based off of the two methods that we have. No, John, you're not going to submit notes today. You've been participating, so you are good. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be taking notes, so please make sure you're writing this down, right? It's not too much. I mean, you don't have to submit no pictures or anything today. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, but no, you're not submitting your notes. Okay, so guys, listen, what do I have to use to solve this? What do I have to use to solve this? What method? Factoring or square roots? Yes, Aiden, why do I know which term, the 60, the 4x, or the x squared, kind of really tells me, okay, I need to factor this? No, Marty, you're right. It's factoring. Why are you saying, oh, oops? Yes, Aiden, the 4x. Guys, and when I say one person, if someone else answers, that's totally fine too. I just was talking to Aiden because he had said factoring. Okay, awesome. I has that middle term, that b term. All right, so I need to factor this. What form do I have to get my equation in before I can factor it? What form do I have to get my equation in before I can factor it? Or what should the equation look like before I start to factor it? Good. John said standard form. Okay, I'm going to take that and kind of go with it. Standard form means you need one side equal to 0, and you need those decreasing powers of x. So I'm probably going to move the 60 over. I need to have that x squared term first, not the 4x. All right, and then I'm going to subtract the 60. Okay. Does anyone know? Yes, Jack, the standard form. Jack, maybe you can tell me this. Do you know what this factors to? This is actually like a fast one to factor because I have x or 1x squared. Or Jack, you can tell me the numbers I have to multiply and add to maybe.
Are you Adding
To
to
me?
4 and multiplying to negative 60.
Yes, thank you, Jack, and thank you for speaking to me today.
Yeah,
Guys,
I'm seeing
remember,
it.
remember that 1 in front of the x squared, that means that I'm only multiplying to negative 60, and then I'm going to add to positive 4, right? Yeah.
And the numbers, I think,
Yeah.
are 10 and negative 6.
Amazing. Awesome. Now, guys, because that x squared term has a 1 in front of it, I do not need to factor by grouping. This is one of those fast ones. So you can literally plop these numbers into the factor. So can somebody tell me what this will actually factor to? What goes into my little factors? It could be anyone. What will this factor to? Jack found our numbers for us. And now I need to actually factor it. We can write it or we can say it, whatever we want.
Are you talking about like in the parentheses?
Yes.
So it's like x plus 10 and x minus 6.
Thank you, Jack. All right, so someone else, right? Because Jack did basically this whole problem, which is great, right? Or started to solve the whole problem. You guys put it together for me. What do I need to do now? What's my next step? Thank you, Jack. What's my next step? What do I do with both of those factors I'm trying to solve? And if you know the next step, you can definitely write it on your page, right? But if you haven't participated, maybe this is the time to. Okay, Marty said make them equal to 0. Great. And then, guys, I am going to solve from here, okay? And oops, I didn't write that equal 0. Don't forget to write the equal 0. I think on one problem on my video yesterday, I didn't write equal 0, but then I solved it. Make sure that you do set up this equation just so that you know you're not making any mistakes, okay? Okay, so I get these two answers. All right, so do I just box them and say, okay, I'm done. Here are my solutions, because I see this a lot. I see a circle an answer, or circle the answers we get in word problems, and we just say we're done. Is this what I do? Or is there anything that I should consider?
You should think about x equals negative 10.
Okay, and what should I think about with that one?
Like cross it out.
Because it is what?
Negative.
You're right, I can't have that negative number. All right, so guys, now I have to find the dimensions. Can someone tell me what the dimensions are going to be? Yes, Carlin, cross off the negative 10. That's right. What is my final answer going to be? Because I have x, and then I'm going to choose x equals 6, right? Yeah, John's saying 10 and 6. Okay, so he's getting 6 from me literally saying x equals 6. And then I have this 6 plus 4 over here, which is going to give me 10. So I have to find that other dimension there, the length or the width, whatever we're assigning of. And then, of course, write your sentence. Okay, the dimensions of the rectangle. What time is it? Okay, we're almost done. Are, we can say 6. Are we dealing with feet? No, centimeters, sorry. Okay, 6 centimeters by 10 centimeters. All right, so guys, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to be done. Don't get off yet, please. I am going to, because we have like a minute or two. I'm going to do this problem with you tomorrow, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the review. This is like the harder of the, like a harder word problem. And then what I'll say is I'll probably tell you which problem on the review will be like the word problem I give you on Friday to actually do on your own and submit, because it is going to be there is going to be at least one. It'll probably be a modeling problem, and then like a solving with square roots or something again, or factoring depending on how you solve the modeling problem. So I'm going to give you something like this. So I'm going to leave this up here for the next 2 minutes. You guys can take a picture of it, or you can like take a screenshot of it. I want everybody at some point today, if you can, instead of submitting your notes, and those of you that participated, you got credit for today. If you didn't participate, it just gets an NG, right? No grade, doesn't count forward towards you or against you. But I want you guys to try this problem. And if you think you have the answer, maybe you could send it to me, because I could